There is some sort of a race in terms of seeing who is going to to make the discovery first. I always liked the challenge of problems and the pleasure which comes from solving them. And typically that is a pleasure which is really an intimate pleasure. Every researcher basically has his portion of a problem which he tries to solve and tackle alone. I mean, the first competition I think is with oneself.
It's always a strange relation. I mean, we know we compete, but we couldn't live one without the other.
Okay, how late do you want me to call you? Are you sure? 3 a.m. All right. You too. Bye.
Okay, but well, I mean, one of the questions we should ask ourselves is
the collisions are happening about 100 meters underneath us, which very fond memories of installing the detector down there. So now to see that it's working and delivering the triggers like expected is rewarding to kind of see that hard work come to fruition.
It is two different experiments which have evolved differently from different communities which have made different choices of technology. So being that we are looking for the same thing with different instruments, of course we are sure that we are better. The competition, like I'm sure that my friends in Atlas are intimately convinced of the same.
Competition is essential to ensure that the results are valid. There can be cases where a certain experiment, in the way which it is designed, may simulate a physical result which is not exactly correct. So to me it has always been important, and it will always be important that any result which is found by a certain collaboration is validated by another collaboration which has designed its experiment in a different way with different engineering choices. And only after the two collaborations have validated the same result, then I would really believe it strongly myself.
How confident are they that loading this new HLT menu will clear all the problems at the tier 0? I mean, that's another thing. We're going to lose, okay, best case scenario, we lose 10 minutes of data, but then is the problem 100% sure going to be fixed? If we lose a half an hour of data every time the LHC gives us physics, then it starts to add up. Also, if we lose a half an hour of data, but some other detector, which will remain nameless, doesn't, then their results will be better than ours. The results are very, very dependent on statistics. So we, of course, want to have more data than another detector that is also taking collision data right now. So there is, pressure to do it right and to do the best we can.
Particle physics is quite a small world, so there are many people who know each other quite well across the experiments. There are people on CMS who worked on the same experiment as me a few years ago in Hamburg, for instance. There are people even married across the boundary between CMS and Atlas.
He's from Naples, so he can say anything with a straight face.
No, but you have to say, I cannot say, I can say she works on Atlas, I work on CMS, and we live together. This I can say, yes. Yesterday morning we had a discussion just there. I remember while preparing the breakfast, I told you something that I saw, and then we started discussing about that.
Yes, and I was right and you were wrong.
As usual. What was the
it
topic?
It was why the distribution of
the distribution on some background events.
Stop at 20 meters.
Yeah, I mentioned that I saw a nice talk in CMS of somebody looking at beam gas events, and I could not understand some distributions, and so.
And I explained him why he wasn't seeing it.
And then Ariella was explaining me why I could not understand that. When we got the data with the cosmic rays, CMS published 23 papers. Atlas published 1. I was very happy that there was such a difference, but it's not.
This is not a called competition. How it's called?
I mean, it was very interesting because this was well presented to the funding agency, and then we get a bit more money because of that. And there is interest in being better than Atlas, also in simple things like publishing performance
we will see. Cosmics
results.
are one thing. We will see physics. We will see physics.
Yeah, I mean, CMS published the first paper before Atlas. I have now four papers in preparation.
I mean, these are papers that are not very interesting. These are bread and butter papers. We will see.
Atlas is about a month behind CMS, which is not something we wanted to see. And I think we'll probably look how and why it came that we were so far behind. We don't want to be that far behind with the Higgs, for instance.
Sometimes you'll see an event and it'll have like two big jets that are pointing like this, so you can tell, well, there's probably missing energy coming that way. Like there, missing energy. And then that, I couldn't really tell what was happening. Because I work on a muon system, anytime I see muons, I get a little more excited because, it's my kind of particle.
At this moment, the machine is delivering nothing new from the scientific point of view. It's basically the first collisions, and what we want to do, in fact, what we are using of this first collision is rediscovering the physics or the understanding of nature which has been accumulated over the last 50 years. So we use known things to verify that our instruments are working correctly by rediscovering them. And even in these, I would say, early phases, there is a little bit of competition in the sense who is the first one to rediscover that given resonance or that given particle combination or that given feature of the way nature behaves.
They just look at the magnetic field map of Atlas. To understand the magnetic field map of Atlas, it will take years. While in CMS it's straightforward.
Well, it is straightforward, but there was a minimal discrepancy for the cosmic in CMS, and it took ages to understand how it was.
We understood very well, and in Atlas have not yet understood.
No, this is what you think. This is what you think. It is more complicated.
We do things differently. You don't just design the detector, you design the collaboration. There's definitely a real rivalry though. And, we want CMS to be confirming our results, and they want us to be confirming theirs. Everyone wants to be first and best.
It's always very reasonable. I mean, it doesn't get to the point of being. We are very civilized.
So what time is it?
It's 5. It's the worst time.
How's it been?
Beautiful. Our rates dropped off a little bit, so when we started this run 4 hours ago, we were running at 8.5 kilohertz, and now we're at 8 kilohertz. So slowly the number of protons hitting each other in CMS is deteriorating. But it's still really good physics run.